Hey guys, JJ here with some potentially exciting news on the future of the Resident Evil series, along with some further information on Resident Evil 9. So with that being said, let's get right into it. It's clear the Resident Evil hype train is in full motion with no signs of stopping. One successful game after another, Capcom has managed to reach new heights in both popularity and revenue for the series. With the recent announcement of the Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition and the conclusion of the Winters Family saga in the Shadows of Rose DLC, many fans are wondering what's next for the series. Well, it looks like we won't have to wait long to find out. Before we get started, it should be noted that the information you're about to hear is currently a rumor and should be treated as such until we receive official confirmation from Capcom. Alright, let's get into it. Well-known Resident Evil insider, and in my opinion, reliable leaker, Aesthetic Gamer, also known as Dusk Golem, has made a statement that Capcom is currently developing 5 new Resident Evil titles, including the next mainline game, Resident Evil 9. In a Discord message, Dusk Golem wrote, "Yep, I know of 5 Resident Evil games in development right now, including Resident Evil 9. One of these projects could be released in late 2026, early 2027. If true, this is big news for the future of the Resident Evil series. This also makes sense from a business standpoint. As I mentioned earlier, Capcom has managed to reach new heights in both popularity and revenue for the Resident Evil series. Of course, they would want to focus more of their efforts on new games. Not to mention, they recently announced that they're updating the RE engine, and it will now be much more powerful and efficient. The new name, REX engine. Yeah. Dusk has previously stated the following about Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil 9 will have the biggest budget and longest development time of any RE game to date, and is considered by Capcom to be a chance to move on to new story arcs and focuses, and take the series in new directions. Resident Evil 9 is sort of both a closing and a beginning chapter for things in Capcom's eyes. This is very interesting, but also makes sense. Capcom generally does this after they complete a trilogy. It appears Capcom may wrap up the current story threads with Resident Evil 9 and potentially do a soft reboot with 10, similar to Resident Evil 7. We'll have to wait and see. The general consensus for Resident Evil 9 is that we'll see a reveal sometime this year with a 2025 release date. Moving on now to the 4 other Resident Evil games in development. As of now, nothing has been confirmed, but if we were to speculate, we do have a few indicators of what these games could be. With the success of the Resident Evil remakes, Capcom has expressed their interest in doing more in the future. Recently, Capcom put out another poll asking fans which remakes they would like to see next. If more remakes are to be considered, then we could take a look at the conclusion of the Resident Evil 4 remake, which strongly suggests a potential remake for Resident Evil 5. Given Resident Evil 5's high sales, remaking it aligns with the logical business sense for Capcom. To that, rumors have already begun to circulate the internet about a possible remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica, which I've covered more in depth in a previous video. I will link that over on the corner. In my opinion, remaking Resident Evil 5 before Code Veronica would be a significant missed opportunity. Code Veronica reintroduced Albert Wesker after his death in the first game, and established the rivalry between Chris Redfield and Wesker. Who knows, maybe we'll get both. Previous leaks suggested that Capcom was working on a game titled Resident Evil Outrage and Resident Evil Hank, which was most likely Resident Evil Hunk. We've gotten news since that Resident Evil Outrage was most likely cancelled, but maybe a Hunk game is in development. I don't know. If I had it my way, I would love to see the Outbreak series make a return. The multiplayer survival horror experience, updated in the REX engine, with today's online support would be absolutely fantastic. Revelations 3 would also be great, but now at this point I am just getting excited and speculating. Right now, it's anyone's guess what the other 4 Resident Evil games will be. All we can say for sure is that if this information is correct, there will be much more Resident Evil in the coming years. I can't wait to see what Capcom has in store for us, but now I'm curious to know your thoughts. Do you think Capcom is currently working on 5 Resident Evil games? If so, what do you think they are? What would you like to see? Let us know down below in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and for all the latest Resident Evil news, leaks, rumors, and discussions, make sure to subscribe. The Residents of Evil is a Patreon supported channel and also supported by our YouTube members. So if you'd like to become a member and unlock access to custom badges, emojis, and exclusive live streams, click that join button down below. You can join our survival horror community on Discord, link will be in the description, and I have the Duke here to tell you a little about our sponsor, G Fuel.
Do you have need of anything for the road ahead? The Residents of Evil has expanded its services. Perhaps you're in need of a little pick-me-up. I recommend the G Fuel. You can even get a fair discount if you use the code ROE upon purchase. And as always, we thank you for your patronage, stranger.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you back at the Resident of Evil.